Okay, welcome to this special meeting of the Budget, Capital, and Personnel Committee on Tuesday, May 3rd. I'm calling the meeting to order. Changes to the agenda. Just wanted to remind you that Lisa and I think Katrina both sent us a resolution to add to the agenda, appropriation from Contingent Fund, purchase of department vehicle, Department of Probation and Community Justice. So I hope everyone has that in front of them. And Lisa, if you don't mind, I think because this is probably a pretty non-controversial resolution that Daniel Cornell is here about, we'll just take that first if it's okay with you.
Sure.
So can I get somebody to move that resolution? Rich John moves it. Mike Lane seconds. Thank you both. Daniel, do you want to tell us what's going on with this?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me and for squeezing this onto the agenda. So we have two department vans that we transport community service clients in. We try to replace them every 10 years just to avoid high repair costs and things of that nature. So one of the vans was scheduled for replacement that had been purchased in 2013. We tried to work with Dan Nolan and with the Green Fleet with Chief Sustainability Officer Terry Carroll to find an E-van for purchase last year. Those were not available. And then we couldn't find one at all because they just were not producing vans. So we were under the impression we would be able to carry that over to this year. And
then we pulled the rug out from under you.
Well, yeah, then there were changes made to the rollover. So we would still like to replace the van. We were able to find one. It's a gas powered van because they are not making them that are compliant with the Green Fleet requirements, but we do need a van. So I would ask you to consider approving this resolution so that we could purchase.
Okay, that makes perfect sense, and I can appreciate the fact that you gave it an effort. And there's also the supply chain issues that we've been having with vehicles and everything else. So I understand why you couldn't do it last year. Does anybody have any questions for Dan? Rich?
Thanks. Actually, it's for Lisa. This seems to be exactly what we were talking about with our change to the rollover policy. Is that correct? And I wanted to confirm that this is how you anticipate it's going to work.
Well, this is a circumstance where something was approved using rollover in 2021 and the purchase couldn't be completed. So the funds are technically still there.
So it's rollover on rollover.
That's right.
But the last of it. Okay.
And also, I would imagine that if Dan and Terry had been able to find an electric vehicle, this would have gone through the Green Fleet centralized procurement, and we wouldn't be dealing with it in this particular way. Is that right, Lisa?
Well, yes, and we're moving forward with 2023 for vehicle purchases for departments, moving them out of the operating budget and into the capital budget so that we'll have centralized procurement.
Okay, thank you.
This is falling through the cracks in a couple of different ways.
It's in that awkward teenage phase of transition. Yes.
That's right.
Does anybody else have any questions? If not, we seem to be ready to vote. So, Lee. Greg?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Rich, I'm sorry. And I'm a yes. So congratulations, Dan. You got yourself a van.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on. We've got Resolution A, Establishment of 2023 County Financial Goal, ID 10904. Can I get a motion on that? Was that a hand, Lee?
Yes.
Okay, Lee moves and Mike seconds. Lisa, do you want to speak to this, please?
Sure. This is one of two resolutions that the legislature routinely considers after the budget retreat and passes in order to provide the organization and really the county administrator with a fiscal goal to work with to start preparing the annual budget. So this is the first of the first attempt at the beginning of the year to put together all of the known factors influencing the coming budget to establish a target and set us on a track for a budget preparation for further consideration by the legislature in the fall.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this? Mike?
Lisa, this is something, as you say, we do every year. Is that in our fiscal policy that we will adopt a resolution like this? I was thinking it was, but it may not.
I believe it is. I would have to go back and brush up, but I believe that this is part of our fiscal policy.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Well, all right then, we're ready to vote. Lee?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, moving on to the next one. Resolution B, establish guidelines and fiscal targets for all county budgeting units for the preparation of the 2023 budget, ID 10907. Can I get a motion, please? Mike Lane moves. Do I have a second? Rich seconds. Lisa, do you want to speak to this one?
Sure. This is the second resolution is a follow-up to the first, where it directs the county administrator and staff to take the target that was just set and adopted, to apply it to departmental budgets in order for the organization and departments to begin their budgeting process, and our supported agencies to build their budgets in accordance with the amount that's the 3% increase that was determined as part of that beyond maintenance of effort increased levy target. So this really operationalizes, if you will, the target increase that you just you just passed for us to begin building our departmental budgets to present again to the legislature for review later in the fall.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I did want to clarify something, Lisa. In the resolve, the paragraph 1, we're kind of doing an across the board increase of 3% for the not-for-profit agencies that we fund, like through HSC and stuff. But paragraph 2 for county departments is somewhat different. Are we treating them substantially differently?
We are, for county departments, we are applying the growth factor in the negotiated salary and fringe increases, which it depends on the bargaining unit, but we are applying that same, the applicable growth factor for departments. So they're essentially held harmless, if you will. They don't have to make up for that increase in their departments. We are covering that.
Okay, so that covers salaries and fringe, but to the extent that other aspects of their operation might be more expensive because everything seems to be more expensive. I just want to be sure that they're treated as advantageously as the not-for-profits?
So we have the beyond maintenance of effort includes some funding for the highway department in terms of fuel costs, and we're looking at the we did an increase in the capital contribution for the cost of materials, fuel, transportation, et cetera. So those costs are included in that target.
And of course, the 3% for the not-for-profits is going to have to be enough to cover any increase in wages and compensation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And again, this is all considered a starting point. It gives us something to work with, and then departments and agencies will come back to us and tell us we could meet it or we couldn't, and this is what we couldn't meet, and those come in the form of over target requests.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any questions? Lee?
Lisa, you might not have it in front of you. Do I remember from the last meeting that the not-for-profits is about 800,000? Does that sound right?
I don't have it in front of me. I can get that and let you know.
I think it was in the information from last time, but that's the number that rings a bell. So I don't think it's in the multi-million dollars, right?
No, I don't believe so either. Actually, the increase in sponsored agencies, 3%, 205,000. And then TCAT is another 30,000 we put in there just as an estimate. So about 235,000 total.
That's the 3% increase. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Anything else anybody wants to ask or comment on? All right, then, are we ready to vote? Lee?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, Lisa, is there anything else?
Not that I can think of today for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Does committee members? Yes, Mike.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew, because it reports to our committee, but the college has announced its new president today. So I did send out an email to everybody, and you may have also got their press release. The new president will be Amy Kremenek, formerly of Onondaga Community College.
Thanks, Mike. Do you have any special insights about the new president? I know that you're very
Only what's in the press release is all I can give you. She is for the last 7 years, she served as the vice president of enrollment, development, and communications at OCC. In the previous 4 years, she was vice president of human resources and external relations at Onondaga. She's been 20 years of experience in higher education. And her background is Central New York here. She went to the Newhouse School of Communications. Trying to just find it here in the press release.
okay. Well, thank you. And I guess that's everything. So unless somebody has some reason why we should not be adjourned, we are adjourned. And thank you, everybody.
You got her doctorate from University of Maryland.